let's circle back. Let's do our main topic.
All right.
The
Here
House
we
of
are.
David, season 2.
Season 2.
If you have not watched this, we're not gonna be real spoilery here. I mean, granted, the story's been around a really long time.
You may have read the book. May not have, but if you have, you know how it ends.
Yeah. So,
Spoiler alert, they all die.
but also spoiler alert, they've done a pretty darn good job of sticking to the story.
They really, really have. A surprisingly good job sticking to the story.
And so on that note, I will say, if you haven't watched this show, I really highly recommend it. Where we started this conversation, it's super high quality. The acting is phenomenal. The acting is actually really, really good.
Yeah.
And from some unknowns, more or less unknowns.
Yeah, this is, I mean, the actor who plays David, he's been on Broadway.
Yeah.
I mean, which is definitely not nothing.
And if they had not already cast Ezra Bridger, he would have been it. Like, he'd have been perfect.
But they've cast several really notable Middle Eastern actors, none of whose names are gonna like come to me. I'm gonna have to look them up. But the one from The Mummy.
Yeah. I can't think of his name.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to look it up. Everybody dies. They do. And I mean, not in the end of the season. I'm just saying, like, the story and the story in the book.
They're taking their time and letting the story breathe and evolve, and they give it space when it needs it, and when it slows down, they find ways to push it forward.
Yeah.
They don't let it stagnate.
Yeah, and they've done, I mean, it's a pretty eventful story, right? You have there's a lot of,
right, like, but they're filling the gaps between the big moments.
Yes.
And those could drag.
Absolutely.
But so far they have not let that happen. They've kept those moments interesting. The characters stay true to who we know they are and who we've already established in this story that they are.
Yes.
We don't see characters that do things out of character in these moments that aren't the big moments from the Bible itself. When they needed to fill gaps, they went to the absolute oldest source available. When it was things that weren't from the Bible, they went to extra biblical sources for as much as they could. So, we didn't go and do it for a modern audience. We went and we pulled sources from the 1st and 2nd century if we needed to.
Yeah.
And I'm mostly impressed. What I really like is it's so well acted, but like you were saying, now I think part of the reason for the really fast turnaround from season 1 to season 2, the only way I can think that actually happened, I mentioned this to you the other day. I think season 1 and season 2 the scripts must have all been submitted.
Absolutely.
So when they were greenlit, they had their 8 episodes. It was written.
I'm under the impression that
they just went straight into
seasons.
And they probably had not even broken down sets.
Yeah.
Because it happened so fast. So they literally went straight into filming.
Yeah.
There was we got to wait for the writers to do this and get everything here. All you had to do was get everybody you needed on site.
Yeah.
And shoot.
And, they've got a lot of recognizable actors, but nobody who's, like the biggest thing out there and is thus super busy. So you have Ali Suleiman as King Saul, who is unbelievable. He is absolutely, he was in that season. He was the like overbearing husband that the wife ran away from in season 1 or season 2 of Jack Ryan.
Okay. Such a good show.
Yeah, really good show.
Getting a movie, right? Not to go off on a rabbit trail again, but I think we're getting a Jack Ryan movie.
Well, that's exciting. Stephen Lang is Samuel, and he got old.
He did. But let's talk about Samuel for a minute.
Absolutely.
I think that we need all these characters um, deserve some mentions, but let's talk about this because usually these characters like Samuel, the prophets, they're they're secretive and they're slinking around in the back in the shadows doing their thing and
being great and mysterious.
Are they make them these big overpowering presences that just and go real over the top with them. He didn't do that. He's just, I don't even really know how to describe it, but
he reminds me of your grandfather. Like, did you just say that? Like, okay, yeah. Old man, you just said that. Yep. Like, honestly, more than anybody else, he reminds me of Pa. You know, like, just kind of, just, yeah.
But this kind of calm in the storm.
And he because he is the person who is completely and totally confident that God has things in hand. Everybody else is like worried about their piece of the picture, and Samuel's not. Samuel is just, he doesn't know the whole picture, but he knows enough of it that he's not
bothered that he doesn't know the whole picture.
No. And they've done a really excellent job, the writer and the actors as well, with, you know, like a very, you know, the last of the judges, right? The last of the judges of Israel, in humanizing him, but not in a way that a lot of times they're like, oh, we're going to humanize this character. It's like, okay, and by that you mean make them a terrible person. You know, we're going to humanize them. We're going to make them, you know, whatever. And they just wind up really making the character, in an effort to make the character more human, make them very inconsistent with, you know, who they're stated to be in, and who they've always been understood to be.
Yeah.
And, you know, they have done a nice job, especially with Samuel. You know, he's kind of, you know, he's had a hard life, you know, but he still, you know, is looking for joy and, you know, likes to have a little bit of a laugh at people's expense. You know, I did get a kid. There was a scene where a few of the Philistines showed up. They're like, oh, we're gonna get the prophet. We're gonna get the seer.
Yeah.
And he kind of kicked all of their butts. And, you know, like on the one hand, it's like, okay, really? But when you really think about it, Israelite judges were military leaders. Like, that's what they were primarily charged to do, was to go to war against the enemies of God and against the enemies of Israel. And, you know, just because somebody gets old don't mean that they are not still who they are.
Right. It's also, you know, this idea of attacking one of God's judges, one of his prophets. And
yeah, because he was not just a judge. He is like the prophet.
Yeah. And it's this confidence that whatever's going on, that God will deliver him until it's time for him to go. And and that echoes in everything the character does. And it's he's a little bit, they clearly borrowed a little bit from Peter Jackson's version of Gandalf.
Yeah, it's definitely
which is great, because the characters like Samuel obviously inspired Tolkien in writing characters like Gandalf, and to kind of twist it back around. And it's not that he's this wizard that's doing, but he speaks in riddles.
Mm-hmm.
And
he knows what's going on.
He's not going to tell you anything more than what you need to know.
Mm-hmm.
And he's powerful when he needs it to be.
Yeah. And I mean, if you look him up, this actor's one that he's kind of shown up in so much stuff, just kind of, as kind of not necessarily as a main character, but he's sort of shown up as a secondary character in just tons of stuff over the past 30, 40 years. And I never would have. He usually plays kind of like a brusque military type.
Mm-hmm.
And I never would have imagined that he had this much range. But he's really proven himself to have, to be a very an actor with just a lot of range. And honestly, one of the nice things about this show, and kind of just the sort of the ilk that's going on right now, is a lot of times, especially actors from the Middle East, can tend to get pigeonholed a little bit as terrorists. It's like, it's and so like several of these actors we'd see that it's like, oh yeah, we saw him as a terrorist, we saw him as a terrorist,
right.
We saw him as a mysterious desert man. And so to actually see them come in, like really step into these really well-rounded characters, which I'd never seen any of them do before, even though I'd seen a lot of them show up on a lot of things. It's been really interesting to see like just how much range they had, and it's really I think it's really, I would it's exciting to see people that tend to really be, I mean, Middle Eastern actors are one of the most typecast demographics, especially in a post 9/11 world. So yeah, it's really been an excellent showcase for some of these people, to have so much range.
Yeah.
And man, and Ali Suleiman, I just as King Saul.
Yeah.
Like he's got this he's got this kind of gentleness that you'll see and you're like, oh, what a nice guy. But he's really not. He's really pretty scary.
But he turns that on and then turns it back off. And
he does. And he turns on the like crazy man, but also the like I totally buy that you're the most powerful man in this country. Like you're the most powerful person that you've ever met. And he really brings it, brings that sort of, he brings that sort of variety, that sort of range, to Saul. And I mean, Saul's a complex dude. Saul is, he's a tragic character. And I do appreciate, that.
I see your comment. Do I have a life? Oh, yeah, sure.
Yeah, see, he's got a beautiful wife too.
Mm-hmm.
Saul is a tragic character, and I think there's been a tendency here for a minute to sort of characters who have tragedy, right? Who have, difficult things happening, hard things. There's been a kind of a tendency to be like, and they're really actually not, they really actually, should, we should just not, judge them. And they're actually probably really not that bad. And they're probably actually the hero of this story because, they really had it hard. They really had it rough. And I feel like the story has been really faithful in the way that they presented Saul, because he is he is tragic, but he is also the creator of his own misery. He is the person who has built this tragedy for himself. And the story really hasn't shied away from that. They haven't painted him as just a, one-dimensional villain, but they also haven't fallen into the spot of giving him a pass, for the decisions that he's made that have brought him to the place that he's at.
Right.
So, yeah, I mean, of all of the excellent cast, I think the one that I may have been the most impressed with has been Saul, just because it's, he's got probably more going on, such a wide range of things going on, right?
Yeah.
Like, our Jonathan, like he's a really, he's a soldier. He does the soldier things, and he's a really nice guy. And he's just really nice all the time to everybody, even when he's not being super nice, his heart's in the right place, so, so everybody doesn't have that same kind of range going on. But yeah, we've definitely seen a lot of range from Saul. Now, one character that we've seen a lot from is Anaheim, Saul's wife, which we see very little. Like, we pretty much just get her name in the Bible, and they've given her a much more wide-ranging story.
Yeah, I mean, we obviously, in order to extend this season, this story beyond a season of television, we've included we've given a little more to David's brothers, Joab, Abner.
I have to say, Joab, man, has always been one of my least favorite characters in First Samuel. It's like, you read it and you're like, oh, Joab. Joab's the worst. He's kind of the worst. Whenever he's in your corner, he's a real helpful person to have in your corner. But he's also the person who will eventually facilitate David's greatest tragedy.
Yeah.
Yeah, I have to say, I it's like, oh, they're making a Bible show. Yay.
We've talked about that a lot. We've been very critical of a lot of faith-based entertainment. And granted, this is a little different than a lot of what we generally talk about when we're talking about faith-based entertainment, because generally we're talking about stuff that's the life of Jesus. But this is important to the story, just further back. And it's been, gosh, man, the amount of David stuff that's come out over the last year is kind of wild.
Lots of David.
A couple of animated things, and another animated one still to come, right?
There's a couple. I thought there was just the one thing.
Well, the one thing came out, and doesn't Angel have another one that's about to? Or
it's the same one. They're just releasing it in theaters, right?
I think there was a different David project as well.
Maybe. I don't know. But the story has also been, they've done, and this is one thing about short form, right? Seasons, is you tend to get really coherent stories, right? You tend to get nice, even arcs, right? Everything gets tied up. And they definitely have done, everything has really clicked, things that they'll sort of drop, things that they'll kind of reference. And I'm like, I wonder if they're going to come back and actually address that, or if that was just they're just paying lip service to the source material and are kind of move on, and then they'll come back and bring it around.
They're doing a good job with that. They're doing a good job with foreshadowing what's to come for David.
Yeah.
I mean, we don't even know how much of that story they're going to do, because if they only do 3 seasons of this, we're clearly at the very best, we're getting David's ascent to the throne. Like, we're not like, there's no, I don't even think the only way you can get there in season 3 is if you skip a bunch of time, which they may do.
Getting David to the throne. I mean,
Well, we've
honestly,
got some years to
there's
cover
some
here.
years, but there's not just a whole lot. Okay, so
right
at this point, David, he goes to Gath. The Philistines decide, all the other Philistine leaders are like, why is he there? He's scary. Get rid of him. So Achish tells him, you gotta scoot. So he scoots, wanders around for a little while, goes to Engedi. Saul chases him around. David has a couple of opportunities to kill him, and he doesn't.
Yeah. So obvious, but I think that's still true. What I'm saying is, you can
and
do
he
all
acquires
this,
a couple of new wives,
but you still like have to do the time jump.
Yes. Yeah.
Like you know, but I can't imagine them the way they're picking the big moments. The next big moment would be his ascent to the throne.
Yeah.
So like, I kind of feel like if we're only getting 3 seasons, that's where we're going to end it.
I think so.
I think that at the very farthest, I mean, we can obviously continue to jump the story forward. We can see, but I don't think we're going to see in 3 seasons far enough into David's life for him to want to build, be prepared to build the temple. No. And, for God to tell him no, and all that. Like,
no, I don't think so. Yeah, that's still got, and honestly, like, I think they've dropped enough information to know we're probably going to meet Bathsheba in the next season. And honestly, I mean, that's like the what, first or second episode, whenever his like, okay, here's your man, and one walks up, he's like, I'm Uriah, and I'm like, oh no. We don't want to be friends with Uriah. We don't want to do that. That makes it all so much worse. Makes it all so much worse.
Right. Right. That we're, I think they're doing a good job with the way they're piecing that stuff together to make you not just make you, when you get to that moment, not just make you go, gosh, I can't believe that David, the shepherd we met, would do that, but also to make you feel bad. He's doing it to a friend.
Yeah.
And to someone that they've also kind of let you attach to. So,
and someone who has proven, like, who has been loyal to David to the exclusion of the other people, like he leaves the service of his king to follow David into the wilderness.
No, yeah, no, the for the soldiers that made the decision to follow David into the wilderness, they were sort of signing a death warrant.
Oh yeah.
Sure. If they were caught, they were going to be killed.
Like, here's the thing. David's untouchable. David's anointed. Right. And like, so I think that at this point they believe that, but clearly being on David's side does not make you untouchable, which I think is evidenced very clearly by spoiler alert, if you haven't read the story, if you don't know what comes next after David leaves and goes to get a sword from the priest at Nob. But I mean, Saul slaughters them.
Yeah, the priests aren't protected.
The priests aren't,
David's brothers aren't protected.
And it's definitely an interesting dynamic, because like, David's untouchable. David he's got plot armor, right?
Yeah.
Because at least long enough to be king, he's there, but Nobody else does.
Right.
Everybody else is everybody else around him is a potential casualty. And, I think that we're going to start seeing, I think in the next season, all of the casualties of, like the things that are going to happen to McCall and Mirab in the next season are going to be tragic.
Yeah.
And some of the decisions that David is going to make. I'm really curious. So here's one thing that I'm really curious what they're going to do with. They've invested 2 solid seasons of this show in really selling David and Michal as, a love match, which the text clearly says that Saul's daughter Michal loved David. Like that's, unequivocal. But again, spoiler alert, whenever David leaves, Saul gives her to someone else as a wife. And so David goes on the run, and by the time he becomes king of Israel 10 years later or so, he's acquired 3 more wives. 2 or 3 more wives.
I'm not sure.
At least 2 more wives. Because we've got Abigail, and there's a whole story there with Abigail, and there's another wife who is the mother of his no, not talking about you and your multiple wives.
But we did summon him.
It's true. We said David one too many times, and here he is.
Speaking of this David, the one that just joined us in the chat, new episode of the audio show goes up on Thursday morning. So check it out.
Love it.
It's an hour and a half of some incredible rabbit trails.
There's so many rabbit trails. Yeah, like we rabbit trail kind of bad on this, but like whenever there are 3 of us,
I don't know, Marisha. That rabbit trail that we went on at the beginning of this show was pretty impressive.
Well, I mean, I kind of did
that from David to talking about sitcoms.
You wanted another subject. You're welcome. You're welcome.
Thank you. Mm-hmm. Oh, David, we got trolls.
We do have a troll.
Look, I got a troll.
Do you have a life? I was like, what?
I don't know. I mean, I got this guy over here popping up in my feed. Yeah. I guess I'm doing something right if I got a troll, right? It's not a bot troll either. Like it's an actual troll.
Yeah. Seemed to actually be a real troll. I think he left though. I guess he
didn't appreciate I was talking about Bible stuff, probably.
Yeah. What a shame.
Anyway, I don't know how much further we can go on this show without continuing to repeat or get into spoiler territory, but I know that a lot of people probably have not watched this show yet. Whether you are a person of faith or not, this is a really good show.
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing. Like, there's definitely stories, especially in the Old Testament, that it's like, I mean, like, faith aside, this is a really good story. Oh, this is funny.
Yeah. Let's see. So David says, you did so many. I was about to text y'all and say, hey, Sadie Sink was just announced to be in Secret Wars.
Was she really? We did. We had a whole conversation about that. Yep. That's funny. Well,
it's fine. It's still going up, and it was a good conversation. But hey, we talked about it before it happened.
It's true. Can't prove it because it hasn't gone up yet, but we did. That's funny. So yeah, like Andrew said, even if you're not necessarily looking for something faith-based, it's a great kind of sword and sandals kind of epic movie. Which
there's
a real shortage of sword and sandals.
But no, like seriously, like now. If you're a Game of Thrones fan, go watch this show. Like, I mean, it doesn't have some of the things that Game of Thrones has, but there's no nudity and no dragons, but
there's definitely plenty of infighting and
backstabbing
and sneaking around
and really good acting. and really, really high production values.
Yeah.
Especially, I mean, I'm gonna be honest, like, you know, we see a lot of things made overseas. And that's not new. Like, we've always seen a fair number of things made overseas, especially your sword and sandal epics. A lot of times they're not very good as far as their production values.
Yeah, that's true.
I'm gonna go out on a limb and assume that this was an American crew that they traveled in for the most part.
I mean, I'm sure the department heads at least are from here. I'm sure they have a lot of local crew.
No nudity and no dragon. What's the point of making a TV show if it doesn't have nudity and or dragons?
I mean, that is a fair question. That is a fair question. You know, I mean, it has been suggested that, you know, story and, you know, acting could be a reason to and watch a TV show.
I will say everything I'm seeing about this Wonder Man show that's coming, like, they probably should put some dragons and some nudity in it, because I think that's the only thing that's going to save that show at this point.
Oh my goodness. Yeah.
I mean, funny. Just saying.
All right, so it looks like David is pitching a whole new tangent for us. He's still on all the things. So he didn't text us. So he just sent all the text conversation in the chat.
David says, if anything, I see it as proof of my theory that she's playing Toby, Spider-Man's daughter, May Parker. And yeah, I still think that's a real strong possibility, especially now, and also with all the rumors about Toby showing up in this.
Yeah,
because those seem to be, they haven't said it, but there seems to be growing momentum that it's happening.
Yeah.
And so I
would have kind of liked to have been surprised.
So I'm going to agree. She's either May Parker or she's a mutant.
Okay, so I propose this be our new like metric for like, is the show bad? We can just start saying they should definitely put some nudity and some dragons in that show.
I mean, you know, it could have fixed a lot of the Lucasfilm problems. Like, I'll always advocate for a dragon. I'm not going to always advocate for nudity, but, like, you know, the Acolyte needed something. And I'm gonna be honest, you would have needed a lot of both.
Okay, so this is David's pitch for the new title of our podcast.
So hear me out. I think we just need to make that a segment on the show.
The House of David. What weird things are going on in David's house this week? That's fun.
No, I'm definitely down with naming a segment on the show, The House of David.
Yeah. This is an interesting question. Are there any dragons in Star Wars lore?
Krayt dragon.
Oh yeah, there's a Krayt dragon. And there is a dragon on the cover of one of the like points of view books, right? No, there is a dragon on the cover of one of the books, but it seems
we have the Krayt dragon, and then we have, I mean, the Mythosaur is not a dragon, but it's sort of dragonish.
Yeah.
And I bet if I went and dove into the EU, I bet I can find some other dragons.
All right, so this just in. Solution for all the Star Wars woes: dragons. You heard it here first, friends. And on that note, we can wrap up our conversation on the House of David.
Hey there, sci-fi fans. We hope you enjoyed this clip from a previous live stream of the Science Fictionary podcast. We hope you'll go check out other episodes. We hope you'll hit that like and that subscribe button. And please go check out all of our friends over at the Red 5 Network. And as always, may the Force be with you.